because I really feel like our value isn't individually. It's as a collective. It's as a community. It's as a culture. Um, I was just talking to a friend about this. I was like, we talk a lot about protesting for our rights, and I know that a big reason that people do that is because they looked at MLK and they looked at some of the civil rights leaders and how they use protesting. But one thing that they fail to recognize is that the reason why their protesting efforts worked was because they were unified. They had, Black people back then had a deep sense of unity, to where, like, hey, I will literally take I will literally walk 5, 6, 7, 10 miles to help my people.
And get beat up. And you're absolutely right. It's kind of like what we were talking earlier. If you're not willing to pay the price, you can't complain about not getting the results. And as a community, we've gotten soft because we aren't willing to put skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
See, I mean, we're not willing to put skin in the game, whether it's personally or community or professionally. A lot of people aren't willing to put the skin in the game. They want to jump the step and get the result.
Right.
And the accolades and all that kind of stuff. They're not willing to be the person in the back with the broom that nobody is cleaning up the toilets and all that kind of stuff, but is a part of the movement. Everybody wants to be the front person. And I've always been of the mindset, y'all can be out there. Y'all go ahead and do all that. Give me the brush and I'll clean the toilets if it's helping the movement out there.
Right.
So let me be the person that's hands-on and shit. I don't have to be at the rally. Y'all can go speak and do all that stuff, do all that, but let me be the person that's actually walking up and talking to the kid that's on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be that person.
Sacrifice. And so what I was saying is, within that, we skip steps. We don't want to sacrifice, but we'll protest. But ask one of those people at the protest if they would give you $50 if your life depended on it. And many of them wouldn't. They're united. A lot of us are united through anger, or we're united through frustration.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that would hold us together. But there's not a deep unity that extends beyond that. And I feel like that's the area that needs to happen for Black folks first. For me, people of color as well. But speaking from a Black perspective, we have to start having that as a cultural standard. Like, you may not believe the same things that I believe. You may not have the same faith. You may not have the same whatever. But we have to be able to sacrifice for our people and for our culture, or else we're not going to have anything to negotiate with.
And the thing is that comes back down again to value. You went deep. You just went deep, bro. You just went deep because people sacrifice for things that they value. People, that's the bottom line. People sacrifice for things that they value. You don't have to be philosophically solid for a mother. If her child is in danger and she has to protect it, she don't have to go to a workshop or a class or have a philosophical deep discussion
right
and to save her child.
Mm-hmm.
Because the value, it makes you do things that just totally don't make sense because you value things. With us, again, I'm talking about our people, man, is that we sacrifice for the things we value. And I always watch for that. Okay, after the talking is done, after all of that is done, what is the action that follows? What is the action that follows? We could talk about Black businesses. We should be supporting Black businesses. We should value our sisters. We should, raise our kids a particular way. We can say all those things that we know is right. And we can all agree on verbally, but then our actions show different. And so like one of my pet peeves right now, and I'm just gonna put it out there. One of my pet peeves is that, I grew up in LA and where police brutality was just an absolute norm. I've been harassed by police. I've had guns pulled out to my head with police as a kid.
Wow.
So I'm very aware of those things. I've had police take, friends and partners of mine, take them to rival gang neighborhoods and drop them off. Take them behind grocery stores and beat up. So I'm very clear on how police brutality can be. As I got older and got involved in the community, I started really, again, taking that flashlight and looking at myself and say, okay, how do I really want to make an impact? Do I really want to? And am I willing to sacrifice to the level that it takes to make the impact? Am I really? And so if I'm willing to march on the wrongness of a police officer, and I'm willing to gather all the troops up and we're going to go and rally in front of the police station to the point where we'll get arrested if necessary. If I'm willing to do that, why I can't do that when I know Ray shot Mark down the street and I'm not, and he ain't get arrested because nobody said nothing. Am I willing to rally the neighborhood and go stand in front of Mark's house, or Ray's house and say, hey man, you did wrong. We gonna hold you accountable. If I'm not willing to do that, I can't hold the police accountable. Nobody wants to have that conversation. We want to keep codes and we want to give an excuse over here. Well, we ain't giving them no excuse over here. That's where the power to me lacks, is that we gotta get to the point where we value each other more than these systems that have been created to decide whether or not we're of a value or not. Until we're able to do that, man, we're not gonna be really effective, whether it's in business, whether it's in community policy, none of those things, man. None of those things. And so that's where I'm at, man. I'm hoping, again, to create some platforms and just behind the scenes, helping young people, empowering them with this understanding. And so I'd rather do this behind the scenes than be in the march that I know, okay, after I'm done with this, there's 10, man, at the beginning of this year, man, there was record-breaking numbers of how many people were shot in Portland. Record-breaking. But yet, we ain't doing no marches against those. We're doing a march against, we creating viral things for people that don't even live here, that are being affected by gun violence, and that they should. But I'm saying we got record numbers here and you ain't doing that, but you're gonna do it for other people. No knock against Nipsey. But we elevate Nipsey to that degree, and oh man, that brother was this and this and this, which we should. But you got people right in our own state that have been putting in work and been impactful. You don't say nothing about. So when our kids in these neighborhoods go to look for somebody, guess what? They can't look for Nipsey. Nipsey don't live here.
Right.
You ain't elevating the very people that's effective in putting in the work in your own neighborhood.
Right now, right here, right 2 feet away. Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, who wants to have that real discussion and be held accountable to it?
I think that's tough. It's going to be tough either way, because we're fighting against programming from white supremacy from 500 years ago. We talk. There's a book by Joy DeGruy talking about post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yeah.
And so, all these different things that we're fighting against. We're fighting against ourselves. We're fighting to create an identity that works for us. We're fighting to create unity, and we're also fighting against these different systems of whiteness that are trying to hold us down. So, you know, I don't shy away from that. I highlight that, but I also say, we have to be able to navigate within those systems. We have to be able to, because this is just our reality. Not saying it's okay. Not saying I'm not saying anything like that. I think it's horrible that one group wants to keep that social position to be able to keep other groups down. But at the same time, we're here now, and we have to do something with the time and the energy and the effort that we have with each other. And so I think that highlighting Black and brown folks and people of color that are doing it, and that care about their culture and care about their community, is a step towards that.